Hey everyone in the Secret Sleep Baby and Toddler Sleep Out group. My name is Courtney. I'm your host. I'm a pediatric sleep consultant and I'm here to help you get a great night's sleep. Today, this question came up lots, and anytime a question comes up lots, I want to, make sure I share with the world again. So basically, a lot of families have a situation where there's a lot of, basically it's usually a process. It's like we had our baby, sleeping in the crib and trying to, but our baby woke up so much that we ended up co-sleeping. Okay. And then families are like, a little bit like, almost like, is it my fault? Did I create this? Some of those things. And then people ask me the question, basically like, do we need to stop co-sleeping in order for my baby to become a good sleeper? Would it be helpful if I put my baby every single time into their crib? Would that solve the problem? Okay. So here's the answer. The answer is no. So to me, as a sleep consultant, when we're talking about, babies, especially, like toddlers, it's a bit different. They have a lot more kind of going on about when it comes to kind of the location that they're in, and they have separation anxiety, some of those things. It's a bit of a more complex thing. But when it comes to babies, they don't necessarily know if they are co-sleeping in a bed with their mom or if they are in a crib. Okay, so most of the families I talk to end up co-sleeping because they have a baby that's waking up frequently already. So it's kind of like this almost like backwards way of thinking. It's like, is it going to make it better? Is it going to solve the problem if I put my baby into their crib? And I'm like, okay, but you had the baby sleeping in their crib and they were waking up constantly in the night. So you brought them into your bed because there was a problem. You're asking, if I put my baby into their bed, is it going to solve the problem? The answer is no. So to me, these are different locations, but they are not making a difference as to whether our baby is a good sleeper or a bad sleeper. Most families find co-sleeping a bit easier because our babies are closer. So when they're waking up frequently in the night, instead of, getting up and doing this whole thing and going to the crib, we're kind of going like this and we're bringing our baby closer. We're bringing, it's easier for us as mom, but it's not solving the problem and it's not really making a difference in how they can sleep. Okay. So here's the thing we need to do. We need to pinpoint what is causing the wake-ups. So how we pinpoint what's causing the wake-ups is we address what it is they require when they wake up. So if you have a baby that's crying and they want to breastfeed in the night, it's very likely a breastfeed to sleep association, super common. If they're crying and you're a co-sleeping family and all they need you to do is like snuggle up to them, okay, this is likely a physical contact sleep association. If you need to pick them up and rock them, it's a sleep association to motion. If you need to take the pacifier, put it back in their mouth, it's again, same as breastfeeding. It's that sucking sleep association and it's to the pacifier. Okay, so is putting them in their bed, in their crib, is it going to solve them needing to wake up to have a breastfeed? No. Okay. Is putting them into their crib going to solve whether they need to, be rocked to sleep? No. Okay. Chances are if you were a rocking to sleep family or you were a breastfeeding to sleep family, you would rock them to sleep or feed them to sleep, place them into their crib, and they would wake up a couple hours later wanting the same thing. You put them into your bed because it's physically closer. It's easier to, place them on boob in the night. They fall back asleep. So they're still waking as frequently. It hasn't solved the problem, but it's physically easier for you. Your sleep is being less disturbed because you don't have to get up and go to the crib and this and that. But the reason why the little one is having such troubles with sleeping is because of whatever it is that you are doing during the night in order to get them back to sleep. The only way to solve the problem is to tackle it head on. So it would mean to address the thing that is causing the sleep association. So if it's breastfeeding, I always recommend doing a process of breastfeeding until sleepy, not asleep, and repeat. If it's rocking, it would be it'd be rocking until sleepy and repeat. If it's a baby that has a snuggle sleep association, they wake up. I was talking to a mom today that, kind of like that like reach and lean that the baby would do, or kind of rolling around. And, she's like, it's not, they're not falling asleep on me. They just kind of need me to, touch them a little bit, kind of put my hands on them, and I'm like, yeah, like that sounds like a sleep association to physical contact. They need some of you, some of your hands, some of, that in order to then kind of like, okay, yeah, I can fall back asleep. So basically the process I like to use is my gradual sleep training process. Whatever we do is whatever the wake up is, but we're going to make changes to how we go about it. We're going to do it until sleepy in the beginning phases and then reduce it over time so that they no longer need us in the middle of the night when they have their wake ups. So when I do my sleep training process, if I have a family that is a co-sleeping family currently, even if their final goal is to no longer be a co-sleeping family, I usually recommend doing the process while co-sleeping. And the reason why is because when we do sleep training, we end up having more wake-ups and longer wake-ups and all the things. So, there's no reason to place them into a location that's farther away and going to make your life more difficult over the next couple weeks. We have to pinpoint the problem and deal with it, as it is the problem, and not like a different location or something like that. So if it's a breastfeed until sleepy, we might as well do that co-sleeping, breastfeed till sleepy, unlatch, do the process, have them fall asleep in the co-sleeping bed. I always recommend safety. That's a huge thing. Like mattress on floor style is usually a better option than, a high up mattress, something like that. But then once you are done the process, once you have no longer a sleep association, then you have a baby that's sleeping really solid chunks through the night at about 6 months of age. Then it's really easy to, if you no longer want to be a co-sleeping family, place them into their crib and they will fall asleep and sleep really well in their crib. Okay, so co-sleeping is not the problem. If we're snuggling them while we are sleeping, that is contact, sleeping. That is the problem, and or, breastfeeding to sleep, rocking to sleep, pacifiers for a young baby that can't replace it themselves. These are some of the issues. The location is a personal preference. So, yeah, I hope that was helpful for clarifying. If you have any questions, post below your questions. I can answer them. And if you have a baby that is waking up frequently in the night and you are using a co-sleeping kind of, I call it almost like a Band-Aid strategy. It's like we have a problem, so we have a new problem, and it's just physically closer now. A physically closer problem so that we are getting some sleep, but we're not really solving the problem. If you want to solve the problem, send me a DM. We'll book a free sleep strategy call. We'll talk about how we can solve the problem, and I have a really wonderful 3 weeks to better sleep program where we use gentle methods that don't just involve, laying your baby to cry or anything like that. And that this problem can actually be solved in the next 3 weeks. So, yeah, send me that DM, ask me your questions, and I hope that was helpful. Bye, everyone.